Hey everybody out there in internet land, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan. You're in my corner and I have a very special guest in the corner. Would you like to introduce yourself to the listeners out there?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Clarine Harp. I'm the Director of DVD, Blu-ray, and Video Production for Funimation Entertainment, and I'm also a voice actor.
Now, I have a question. Which one came first? Working at Funimation at the job you have, or working as a voice actress?
Working as a voice actor came first, actually. I did that for about a year and a half to 2 years before applying for a full-time position here.
And now, what sparked your interest in acting?
Well, I've always had an interest in acting. I'm very creatively minded. I went to a lot of acting classes. I have a background in stage and radio. So,
So you can take my job.
yeah, so the transition to doing voiceover acting was pretty natural for me.
And now, voiceover is obviously fairly different in the anime world. Was that a little bit intimidating for you?
It was extremely intimidating because coming from primarily a stage background, I was unable to use my hands, my body, my face. That was a little bit of a challenge. But the biggest challenge was actually learning reactions, the little noises that characters make, and also the timing to what we call lip flap with the video. That was a little tough to get.
Yeah, I can understand that. Though I do hear that with theater, because you kind of exaggerate on stage and you use a bigger voice, that sometimes makes it easier in the booth.
Not really with me. I tend to project and be very loud, so they've either had to tell me to tone it down a bit, or they've just kind of turned down the audio because I have a pretty loud voice.
The wonder of Pro Tools.
Yes.
And now you've kind of seen the industry change from when you started voice acting to now. Is there any big technology changes or anything that you would have liked to had when you started?
Oh, a lot of things. Whenever I first started, actually, are you talking about voice acting wise or my regular job?
Voice
'Cause those
acting
are
wise.
totally- Voice acting wise, actually, the biggest thing are our new booths. We moved to a completely different facility than when I first started voice acting in 2003. We are no longer primarily using what we call whisper rooms, which are basically more or less portable rooms that you can break down and set up where you need. We have actual studios. We're no longer using paper scripts, which is nice. We have a monitor in front of us with the Word document open with scripts. So that's kind of a blessing to not have paper shuffling in the background all the time. So
That's
things
actually
are
really
generally
interesting. Because you hear about now, like, people are flipping, like, iPads and things over to do their reads, and, I always wondered if paper was really that disturbing.
It can be because we used to have paper scripts with a clipboard. So sometimes whenever you are changing over a different page, sometimes you're reading a line and half of it's on one page and half of it's printed on the other. You can hear a lot of noise in the background if you're not careful.
Now, in terms of your job at Funimation, can you explain what exactly you do and what your duties are?
Sure. As I mentioned, I'm the Director of DVD, Blu-ray, and Video Production. So basically my department is comprised of a number of sub-departments. We're in charge of translations, subtitles, DVD and Blu-ray authoring, of quality control, video and audio compression, and remastering, engineering, and editing. So it's a very large group of people.
I would assume there's a lot of micromanagement.
It kind of depends. It's more detail work as opposed to micromanaging.
Well, that makes sense too, considering. So, and
Everyone pretty much does their own thing. So because they've been trained to do something. So I'm not really micromanaging people, but it is a lot of detail work.
so you don't have to be I call it an office shark, and you're behind them all the time, being like, "What are you doing?" Hmm?
Oh no, I trust it here. No, everyone here does a really great job. I also, because I function as our primary DVD and Blu-ray producer, I'm also personally producing titles. So, I'm not chasing anyone else around asking them what they're doing.
Well, and in terms of that, in terms of editing and whatnot, do you learn things, day by day? Because I would assume as technology changes, you're always learning new skills.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And this comes up on a regular basis. As we delve deeper and deeper into Blu-ray authoring and programming, it's pretty amazing. just learning the capabilities because we know DVD. That's an older technology. We completely understand it. So it's kind of interesting learning, I don't know, anything from Blu-ray specs to saying, hey, look what we can do with this Blu-ray disc that we couldn't do on DVD. So that's been pretty cool.
I would assume so, and I would assume that you could put more extra features on Blu-ray just because it's so much bigger. I only know two things about Blu-ray. Well, three technically. PlayStation 3 uses it. Durabus is the title of the protection on it, and it's bigger.
Well, the protection is going to vary. Now, even though a Blu-ray disc is larger, the actual content is larger too. So the files we're putting on are much bigger. For example, an HD file would be much larger than something that's in standard definition. So
Well,
you kind of,
right.
it's not really like an apples to apples comparison. It's kind of hard to explain.
Well, in
Yeah, we're
terms
talking a lot.
Well, in terms of the anime world, have you had a positive reaction to Blu-ray? Because in mainstream, like for instance, my mom has no idea what Blu-ray is. She's still, watching her SD TV, her shows.
Oh, sure, my mom is too.
So I'm kind of curious, is Blu-ray, doing very well in terms of DVD against DVDs?
I think on the whole, as far as anime fans are concerned, what I've noticed that's really cool about anime fans, they tend to be early adopters of new technology. So the types of people who are adopting Blu-ray, I guess, would be, in my opinion, probably a higher percentage than the average person with the average sort of mainstream release. Because, a lot of anime fans are pretty tech savvy. So
Yeah,
I'm seeing more and more people enjoying Blu-ray releases who are specifically watching anime.
which is kind of nice. I think that a lot of anime fans are also gamers too, so a lot of them have like PlayStation 3s or things like that to where
Yes,
that double like a Blu-ray player.
yes, exactly. And that's what mine does at home.
That's the only way I can watch Blu-ray.
hmm
Now, in terms of any projects that you're working on or that you have up and coming, is there anything you want the listeners to know about?
Yes, we are very, very excited to launch our co-pro release of Dragon Age. Has been a really amazing project. I think the movie looks really good. We're releasing it both on DVD and Blu-ray.
And now that's actually a big thing because it's merging, anime and video game fans together that might not necessarily like anime.
Well, there's a lot of crossover, I've noticed. A lot of crossover because I do know a lot of gamers who watch anime and a lot of anime fans who game. So I think it's going to be really interesting, and I think that people are going to like the movie a lot.
Well, I kind of want to see what the reaction is from gamers who only play like Western RPGs. People who are like, I don't know necessarily what anime is, but I like Dragon Age, so I want to see what that is. So I think that'll be a nice, a nice reaction to see in general.
Well, I think so too, and I'm not admittedly much of a gamer. I'm more of, if I do play a game, I will play an RPG because I really like the storyline. Like, I got really hooked on Final Fantasy. I get really hooked on RPGs. So considering that the Dragon Age anime movie is kind of part of the canon, being a fan of the actual storyline, I think that gamers probably would be pretty interested in seeing that take on it.
I do the same thing as you. I can't play games necessarily unless there's some deep narrative
hmm
or I get attached to the characters. That's my big thing. Like,
Yes.
I can't play God of War because Kratos is kind of a douchebag. Like, I don't want to help him. He's mean. I want to help somebody that I can relate to. So
Yeah.
that's my big drive with games. And when I explain that to a lot of people on air, they don't really understand it. Maybe it's a girl thing. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it is because honestly, the other type of game I like is The Sims, which is open-ended, but it's kind of my own narrative.
Well, I'm the same way. I love The Sims, or sometimes I will break out Cooking Mama and I will make the best dishes you've ever seen, even though it's
Yes,
mind-numbingly easy.
I do the same thing.
It has to be a girl thing then. We've discovered the reason girl gamers play video games. Make interesting characters. Jeez.
Yeah, and also because, at least as far as I'm concerned, I'm a bit of a completionist. So if I really do like a character or a show or a game, I'll want to know absolutely everything about it.
I'm the same way. Actually, we just had a round of playing Final Fantasy 13 too, throughout the staff, and I believe I'm the one who played it the longest and made sure to get all the DLC. So, I wanted all the pretty costumes too.
Exactly. Yeah, I do that. It's just a
Now,
girl thing.
we've discovered the secret. I'm just saying. Somebody will pay us for that one day. We'll be in this together. In terms of other projects, is there anything else that you want to pimp out besides Dragon Age?
Wow, there's so much. One of my personal favorites just released yesterday. It is Princess Jellyfish. And have you seen that or seen any of the promotional material?
I haven't gotten a chance to see it. I've seen some of the art for it, and it looks really pretty, and my producer talks about it all the time.
Yes, I absolutely love it because I'm kind of a different type of nerd. I'm a knitting nerd, and a kind of a craft nerd, and so it kind of falls in line with having some interest and having kind of being, I guess, otaku is more of a general term. It's not really specific to anime fans. So seeing a group of women who are otaku, I guess, about different things like red meat and trains or about the Three Kingdoms, it's really sweet, very heartwarming. And I personally just love the show and love the way it came out. So that just released yesterday, so I'm super excited to get my copy.
Well, I'm gonna have to check it to see if it's on Funimation's premium service. I always forget what it's called, but I've been paying for it since November, and I've kind of been not using it as much as I should. I've been watching Hetalia and all the extras for that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
But
that was a fun one.
yeah, that's right. You're China, I believe, correct?
Yes, correct.
That must have been a little bit difficult considering that you had to do an accent.
Well, I had to do a bad accent and sound like a boy. So yeah, that's the first time I've ever done really either of those things.
Well, now I have to wonder, were you afraid of offending anybody? Because that show just likes to make fun of everybody.
I was only afraid of offending my mother, who's Asian, and that's the reason why I didn't audition for the show initially. But after I kind of saw that everybody was being made fun of, including America and Japan, then I didn't feel as bad because it was pretty equal opportunity. And then later I ended up showing her the series, and she said, "Oh, okay, well all the accents are bad. That's fine."
It's okay because it wasn't a legit accent.
Exactly.
I love that. Now, is there anything else that you'd like to tell the listeners out there?
I would like to tell everybody thank you for all your support. And for those of you going to conventions, I hope to see you this season. I'll be attending a number of conventions in the upcoming year, including Anime Detour and SakuraCon in Seattle.
Ah, very nice. I hear SakuraCon's going to be really cool this year. They've got some awesome guests.
Yes, we're going to have a lot of fun.
And now, since we're nearing the end of this interview, I was wondering if you'd like to participate in a 91.8 The Fan tradition.
Okay, sure.
She's like, I'm not sure I want to do this. We basically ask everybody if they'd be willing to do a radio bump for us.
Okay, absolutely.
Sweet, that's easy. That's the easy part, getting you to agree to it. No. We ask if you'd be willing to say, hello, my name is, you insert your name, I do this, you can insert characters, or your job title at Funimation, whatever you want to put there, and you're tuned into 91.8 The Fan.
Okay.
So whenever you're ready, we're recording.
Hello, my name is Clarine Harp. I'm the director of DVD, Blu-ray, and video production for Funimation Entertainment, and I'm also the voice of China from Hetalia Access Towers. You're tuned in to 91.8, The Fan.
Ah, she's professional.
I hope so.
Well, no, just make sure to make fun of Robinson later because it took him about 4 tries.